Good morning. This is Francis Mayhem once again from A Journey into the Mind. I will have to apologize to my audience. If you see a listing that says comedy, I do not know who is interfering on my videos, but I have had like 6 videos deleted, and someone is putting the comment of comedy instead of education. So, in the basis of that, I apologize because this is not a comedy. This is teaching on the basis of my book, A Journey into the Mind. And good morning once again to one more episode of A Journey into the Mind with myself, Francis Mayhan. Today, the conversation will be about our ability to be able to change our view and our mental outlook from having a lot of thoughts and problems with present situations that may be a little bit too controversial for us to deal with as a normal basis, such as the loss of a loved one, grieving, divorce, moving, relocating, some of these stressful events in life that can cause a little effect on our psychological, our physical, and even our emotional well being. Earlier, I recorded a video on this, however, it disappeared somewhere in the trajectory of the social media. Anyhow, first of all, I like to say that my teaching is based not solely on the fact that I wrote the book, but mainly on the reality that I myself had to experience what I'm teaching you about. It is from my experience that I teach you how it is possible to transcend from more than 70,000 thoughts per day with insomnia and a lot of emotional disturbance going through our mind from events that we are not expecting to happen but surprise us all of a sudden, and we have to handle them. It isn't the fact that we are not resilient enough to handle it, but that the body, the mind, and the well being may be overwhelmed with a little bit of too much to handle at the time. And although we do not have the experience to deal with it, we can transcend from where we are to do something better with it. For example, let me say to you that I went through a phase where I have to deal with so much emotionally and mentally that I was deprived of sleep. And because of that, my physical body began to react. The point is that if there is anything in your body that is affecting you previously before you have an experience like this one, you will feel the effect of that physical negative effect in your body affecting you as a result of what you're going through with your stress or any mental worries. Let's say that it gets to be so much that you cannot sleep, you're deprived of sleep, you're not having someone to support, you don't want to tell anybody what is going on because perhaps you may feel embarrassed, or you don't want to talk about your personal life. Chances are that there is a possibility that this will overwhelm you mentally, physically, and bring so much stress in your life that you can either have a nervous breakdown or you could have some very traumatic psychological effect as a result of it. How does anyone get away from that situation where you feel so stuck emotionally and you don't know what to do, who to appeal to? For me, as an example, I will say that the best way for me to deal with a situation like this was to be able to take myself from my present state of mind and realize that I had a problem, that something needed to be done, that I could no longer continue to think and not sleep and worry myself with things I could not control at the moment, and be able to use my mind to control myself. I began by doing meditation to kind of relax my body, to relax my physical being. Then I exercise. Then I began fasting. Although I don't recommend it because I did it in a regimen that was different than people are used to. I do not require a lot of food to support my body. Therefore, I use a lot of vitamins and juices to be able to supplement. Then I did slow walking instead of drastic exercise because my fasting was for a long time. And I began to feel completely different at a very spiritual level. And that had an impact, positive impact on my well being. I began to sleep better. I began to have dreams, even lucid dreams. Then I decided to start writing my book. And this is how my book came about, A Journey into the Mind. It was about the fact that I went through a very drastic experience. And although Dr. Joe Dispenza said, why do we wait for things like this to happen in order to transcend? Well, the truth is that sometimes we face situations that are very difficult, and we don't have a magic genie to say, oh, I can get out of this immediately. We are emotional human beings, and we get affected by things that happen, such as the death of a loved one, separation, divorce, moving. Things like this have an effect on our physical well-being, and they do affect us. However, there is always a solution. You're never stuck in any situation that you find yourself in, because we as human beings have the power of the mind to be able to surface from any situation and move on with our lives. I can say this because as a result of what I did and how I was able to move from that situation and getting unstuck in a place where I didn't know which way to go or where to go, I could not see the horizon in front of me. However, it was there and it was visible, but I could see it. I was blind at the time. The minute I realized I could do whatever I wanted to do without limitations, then I was able to be free. And if you are stuck in a similar situation, sucking, we can always move on from where we are to where we want to be gradually. It's not easy. I went through the pain, I went through the suffering, I went through the grieving, I went through the separation until I realized I am a human being. I too matter and I can do whatever I desire to do. Today, I can say proudly that not only did I write that book, I wrote another fourth book. Four. And I was projecting myself at the time as being someone who had no avenue, who didn't know which way to go, which direction. This doesn't mean that I'm reflecting upon the past. I'm just saying what is possible, how we are limitless, how we can transcend, how we can move, how we can let go, however painful it may be. Because the truth is, there are those who believe at a mystical level that if we hold on to the emotions of grieving from someone that has passed on, we are holding them back from moving on to the light. How do I know that? When I lost my last baby, I was under the impression that I still have my baby with me until I went into one of those lucid dreams, this tiny little person moving on and transcending up into another dimension or whatever we call it. It is a fact that if you hold on to grieving, you are keeping this beautiful soul who is about to transcend into something so brilliantly beautiful. You're holding them on and you're not allowing them to be a free spirit, a free soul, a free being that can reflect back to you all the love that you have for them and they have for you as well. You will understand one day once you release this feeling That is not that you're separating them from your life, because you can never ever forget about someone that you have loved, but you can allow them to move on. You can allow them to be in the light. You can allow them to reflect that light back to you, and for you to be free and allow freedom into their souls. It's been a pleasure, as usual, to share with you about my book and my experiences. And I thank you once again for watching my video. This is Francis Mayhem. Have a wonderful day.